So we're going to repeat this. So basically, like I said, on Wednesday, GiddyUp released a open letter, kind of their state of performance marketing to the masses, right? And this is something that I've known about for quite some time. We have a really good relationship with the team over at GiddyUp and Justin and Eric and everybody over there, and we've been talking to them kind of behind the scenes about this video and the letter and all that stuff that they're doing, and had a chance to look at it and read it and consume it and kind of provide our thoughts on it. So I kind of just spent some time and I wrote just some thoughts, right? And so if you're watching this on the shared feed, you got to go back to the source post, and that'll have the full thing. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'll post it there on YouTube. But basically, I'm going to go over just my thoughts in general here, and that's what we're going to do, and have a discussion about the future. Now, I know that there are definitely some people that I'm friends with on Facebook who are totally against. I've seen it on Facebook already, just the comment thread, the jokes kind of being made about GiddyUp and from the Black Hat community. And listen, that's fine, right? I get it. And when I wrote in this post, is basically, listen, there are a lot of really, really talented Black Hat marketers out there who aren't necessarily like terrible people. I know a good amount of them, and they're doing it because it's a great way to make money. It's a relatively easy way to make money, and that is what it is, right? This is not going to force anybody to change, or I'm not saying that like you're inherently evil or bad by doing Black Hat advertising, whatever it is. This is more so kind of me just discussing where I think things are going based on, we have at Unicorn have a unique perspective because we're able to see different parts of the market and different parts of the industry, meaning that I get to see thousands and tens of thousands of smaller marketers and businesses through my talks, masterminds, courses on the info product side. And then we get to see some of the bigger brands, the 8-9 figure companies, through our consulting business and our capital business and through our partnerships. And so we kind of get this full spectrum view. And we've been doing this for a long time, and I've seen the things I've seen kind of the boat begin to shift, and you see the writing on the wall. And for me, it kind of hit home. I was at a mastermind in Puerto Rico, Nate Lynn's Legends Mastermind, and I was speaking there. And after speaking, I had a time before my flight, so I sat for some hot seats. And one of the guys got up, and a lot of the people in that mastermind are Black Hat. And if I'm not going to get into the definition of Black Hat advertising, everyone has their own definitions. I'll just describe what this guy does, right? So essentially, he had a nutraceutical. He had some type of brain booster, right? It's a supplement you take, and it makes you smarter, and your brain power boosts, and all of a sudden you're like Bradley Cooper from Limitless, right? So the landing page had tons of exaggerated claims, unsubstantiated claims, no disclaimers or limited disclaimers. It was all bullshit, right? And that is what it is, right? So you have kind of a product that really doesn't do what it says it does. And that's one thing. Everybody, that's not inherent to Black Hat advertising, right? There are a lot of like people that advertise, that just have shitty products, right? And they don't like cloak or do things like that. They just have bad products, crappy products, right? There's a lot of people selling things from AliExpress and Alibaba and stuff that are just crappy little widgets, right? But they're not Black Hat advertisers. They're just trying to sell whatever works, whatever's trendy. Like a lot of fidget spinners just break. They're crappy, right? The problem is like making crazy claims, right? So when you start including images of like Bradley Cooper from Limitless on your landing page, and you're making basically an association that, hey, if you take this, you unlock 100% of your brain power and you'll be able to do all things Bradley Cooper did. Like that's crazy, right? And unfortunately, we know that's crazy, right? As marketers, as business owners and entrepreneurs. But what I've learned from our Trump offer, right? We did our big Trump coin offer. This little guy over here. What I learned from this is a big chunk of online shoppers are not highly educated, and or they're not very good at using the internet. So a lot of senior citizens, a lot of people in different countries, they are not fluent at buying things online, right? And so they get confused, they believe things, they don't know that you can just lie and put whatever on a landing page. And so you have this really toxic environment where it's easy to prey on people because they're just like, this is so new to me. I don't know what I'm doing. And they believe everything, right? And so this guy was pitching, he was talking about, hey, well, this is what our funnel used to be and our landing pages used to be. And, I don't like the black hat stuff. So we're trying to make our funnel more white hat and more compliant, right? And it wasn't because he wanted to do things right. It was because he was getting shut down by payment processors, and basically it became impossible to run his business, right? And that's what's happening in a lot of black hat is there's a lot of people who are stopping it and doing white hat, not because they feel bad about what they're doing. It's purely because they can't do it anymore. It's so hard just to operate. You spend so much time, and this is really for me the big and I know I'm all over the place here, and it is what it is when I talk about things I'm slightly passionate about. And when I wrote, I was writing, you spend so much brain power. This is what gets me with the cloaking and all that stuff, but I've never done it, right? So it's hard for me to also have a perspective because I've never done the black hat stuff and the cloaking and all that, right? So I don't have firsthand experience there. So I can't speak 100% accurately about everything that they're doing. And if somebody that does black hat that I know wants to explain it more and go more in detail and disprove everything I'm saying and say, well, no, this is what we're really doing. From my perspective, it seems like you're spending so much time just trying to stay ahead of the security. So you're spending so much time just keeping payment processor going, having backup payment processors, having mids, having your bank not freeze your account, trying to keep Facebook from banning you by having new accounts, by cloaking. Like you're spending all this time every day just keeping the lights on, basically, keeping things running, instead of focusing on innovating, right? Instead of focusing on creating something truly innovative, instead of thinking outside the box and how can I create a better ad sequence? What can I do to maximize lifetime value? What can I do to increase conversion rates? What can I do to improve my delivery time, my manufacturing? What can I do to improve my product quality? Can I make a new product, right? Can I have upsells? Like what can I do to improve my business versus I'm spending all my time just keeping things running because what I'm doing breaks a lot of rules. And for me, it's like I know that there's so many smart people doing black hat, and it's like, imagine the good that those individuals could do if they focused on like legit businesses, right? If they focus on actually like putting together the marketing, the strategy, and the innovation behind products that are making the world better, instead of selling like sugar pills manufactured and marketed to say this is going to make your penis bigger, right? Like that's what it is for me too. It's like you spend so much time trying to sell a fake, Viagra or some magic limitless pill when you could be, spending that time like marketing a truly innovative technology, doing something that's actually good for people and that's actually ethical and moral, and that you can go to bed at night and sleep at night. And some people are able to sleep at night and they're able to be, I'm fine, like doing all this, and I can just rest my head and go to bed because all I care about is making money. And to each his own, right? If that's all you care about in life is I just want to make as much money as possible, and I don't give a shit if I break rules. I don't care if I steal people's money. I don't care if I force people into continuity and they can't get out of it because there's nobody to call. I don't care if I sell products that don't work. I don't care if I don't ship products. I don't care if I, evade taxes. I don't care if I don't, pay these people, vendors. Like, if that's okay, if all of that is just like, I don't care, as long as I'm making money, then, you can continue doing what you're doing. I just know firsthand, like I never started in that world, and it's mind-boggling to me that people can operate like and just be totally cool with it. Like your family knows what you do, your wife knows, your husband knows what you do, your kids know what you do, and they're just like, yeah, it's okay. Like I couldn't imagine like Larissa saying, hey, hey, babe, guess what? We just had our biggest month yet. We're gonna, we're buying, a jet, or we're going to that world trip we wanted to go on. And, but by the way, we actually did it selling fake Viagra to 1 million people. Like that wouldn't be cool, at least for me. That wouldn't go over too well, right? And I'd imagine it doesn't go over too well for a lot of people. And so I think it really comes down to like maximizing brain power going forward, right? So what does the future hold for performance marketing? And so I think there's a few things. One is I do think that I genuinely do believe that there is a big chunk of black hat advertisers who kind of fell into it. They started in it and they genuinely don't like what they do and they don't want to do it anymore. I know that for a fact because I know a lot of people who have personally reached out to me either through masterminds they've attended of mine or message me on Facebook, or I know as personal friends who are like, can you help us get into White Hat, right? I know that for a fact. I think that's great. So I think there is a shift happening where a lot of talented people that have ethics and morals and care about what they market and care about what they do for a living are looking to make a transition, which is great because I think we need more brain power and we need really smart ad buyers and we need really smart marketers and entrepreneurs focusing on big problems, right? Focusing on getting truly innovative products that can impact people's lives into more people's homes, right? And that only happens if we have the smartest people working on that. So I think that's one thing, and there'll be a transition. I think the second thing is it's going to be, I mean, with all the changes that Facebook has made recently, it is getting incredibly difficult to advertise, to just simply advertise, right? And I'm talking about like from a pure White Hat perspective, we are struggling to stay ahead of some of the stuff that Facebook's doing, right? Like any like White Hat affiliate product to be promoted, especially during the holidays. We had few pages shut down because, hey, the shipping got backed up because it was the holidays. And because of that, we got our customer satisfaction score went down below 2 and our page got suspended. So that's happening with Facebook right now. Like this is what everyone needs to understand is like Facebook and Google and these companies have more money than all of us combined. They have more resources. They have the smartest people working for them, or they can retain the smartest people to come in as consultants. And they are going to shut down loophole. Like they will find the loophole, they will find the flaw, and they will plug that hole, right? And so I think what's happening now is it used to be a game of whack-a-mole, right? It's like, hey, these guys found this hole, they exploited it, Facebook figured it out, plugged it, right? Now Facebook's thinking like 2-3 steps ahead because they've gotten such bad press. They've gotten just raked across the coals in Congress because of privacy issues and everything that's going on that they're taking 10 steps forward instead of 2. They're taking the approach they used to take with like new user features, which was always take kind of 10 steps forward, 5 steps back. So you still end up 5 steps ahead. That's always been Zuckerberg's like approach is if I just roll out this, semi controversial feature, it'll get pushed back and I'll be at starting point. But if I roll out something super extreme and then I say, how about some of this kind of controversial in the middle, they're going to accept that because it's way less radical than what I propose. And they're doing the same thing, I think, for ad buyers right now, where it's, they're surveying a massive amount of customers, right? Most of the pages that we run ads from now have a score. They have a score from 1 to 5 associated with it, right? And anything below 2, if your score drops below 2, you're going to start getting penalized, meaning you're going to pay more money to reach fewer people. So your CPMs are going to go up. And if you don't get it back over 2, your page gets suspended for 45 days. And if you don't improve it beyond then your page gets shut down, right? So unless you plan on just having tons of fan pages, hundreds and hundreds of ad accounts ready to go, it's going to be challenging. And even if you do, Facebook has now implemented rules where they cap the daily spend for new ad accounts, right? So the old model was, okay, I'm just going to churn and burn ad accounts. So I'm going to create a bunch of ad accounts. And when they get shut down, I'm going to fire up a new one, right? That's the model, right? Create 100 or 1,000 or however many, depending on when you got into Facebook. You have everyone that's got into Facebook early on has a business manager with just a list of ad accounts, right? So Facebook's been doing 2 things. One, they've been shutting down inactive ad accounts. So unless you were, spending some money on them and doing some hacks, keep them like a little bit of life in them, Facebook deactivated them. So you had 1,000 ad accounts that you created a while ago, but you haven't used ever in years. Most of them are deactivated unless you've had that hack where you kind of spent some money on it and kept it a little active, right? So that's one thing. So then let's say you keep doing the new model where it's like you keep doing the same thing, which is, hey, I'm just going to fire up new ad accounts, or I'm just going to have an employee create a new business manager, 2 business managers, max the ad accounts out, make me an admin, switch me over. Let's say you do that, right? Well, even then, you now have this kind of probation period where you can't spend more than $50 a day for a certain period of time. I believe it's a month or 2 months. I don't have the exact number in front of me. But basically, so let's say you had an offer that you were spending $10,000 a day on, $20,000 a day on, just crushing it, right? You can't spend 20 grand. You can't just like fire up a new ad account and start spending a few thousand a day. Even like older ad accounts, you were still capped at 5K and needed to get your limit increased, right? So you're going to be at $50 a day. What are you going to do? You're going to fire up 1,000 ad accounts and you have each one spending $50 a day until the limit gets increased? So the way I look at it is like Facebook has made it incredibly difficult to keep doing the same stuff that people are doing to game the system. And I personally, maybe some other black hat guys out there have figured out loopholes and flaws in the new system, but I can't for the life of me see a viable, scalable solution to continue to game the system and run black hat traffic in the current system, the rules that Facebook's put in place, right? Because again, remember, they're putting these surveys in place. So they're not just tracking ad accounts anymore, business managers. They're tracking domains. They're looking way beyond just the individual user, right? Agora got blacklisted, right? You can't touch an Agora domain, not even just like an Agora.com thing, but any offer that Agora had is flagged, right? You try to run any Agora offer right now, any of their offers across, I don't know how many domains, that ad account almost instantly gets deactivated, right? Like that's pretty crazy. So again, the extremes, the lengths that you're going to have to go to run non-compliant traffic on Facebook are so great that the way I look at it is like, why wouldn't you just spend your time and your expertise marketing something that is like a great product, right? There are plenty of incredible brands that have built 9-figure companies in very short periods of time. Dollar Shave Club, Purple, Casper, BarkBox, Squatty Potty, Warby Parker. You can go through the list. Funko. There's all these incredible companies in the last few years that have just gone from idea to 8-9-figure companies to public companies, right? And they're selling incredible products. They're selling them completely compliant. They're using the positive word of mouth, the great social proof they're getting in ads, the 5 satisfaction score they have. They're doing everything right, and they're making a ton of money. And so I guess that's what it comes down to. What I'm thinking too is like, I get that there's a lot of money to be made when you sell fake sugar pills, right? Because the margins are insane, and you're preying on somebody's insecurities. I get that, but what I also don't get is the assumption that like that's the only way you can make money. I just totally disagree with that. I think there are so many incredible products and services and businesses out there right now that need our skills, that need performance marketers, like desperately. They have all the other things in place. They have an incredible product. It's innovative, groundbreaking, has an incredible brand, all of these amazing things in place. And they need people like us to acquire customers for them, to scale their traffic, to fuel their business, right? And there's massive profits that can be generated by doing that successfully. So it's like, to me, it's not like the grass is greener over there. Even if your just goal is only to make money, right? I think there's if I'm valuing my time, which is what I value nowadays, I don't, and to me, time is the most valuable resource. Once you made a certain amount of money, it becomes your time, right? And so I couldn't imagine spending my day, like when I'm on a phone call that I don't feel is productive, it drives me insane. Like when somebody spends more than 5 minutes on the phone with me and I'm like, there's no point to this, it drives me insane because every minute is dollars to me. And it's time I can't get back. It's time I can't spend with my wife. It's time I can't do fun things. So if I had to spend like hours a day just like launching new ad accounts and cloaking and doing all these things just to keep things running, I wouldn't want to do that anymore. I'd rather spend that time, working on scaling like really compliant, incredible offers and products, right? So I think that's one thing as well. I think the other thing we're going to start seeing when we look at the next year or two is a move from like, if right now you as an affiliate marketer are purely building your entire business on just CPAs, meaning all you make money on is just that front end CPA for a bunch of different companies, right? So you're a gun for hire, they're paying you a flat CPA per sale, and that's it. That is getting scarier and scarier, right? Because you're not building any, thanks Luke, you're not building any asset, right? So what I'm thinking about is like, if I'm going to work that hard and I'm bringing the X factor to a company where I'm fueling their growth, I'm acquiring their customers, I'm building this base, right? I want a piece of that pie. I don't want just here's $20 per customer, right? Because that customer might be worth thousands of dollars to that company, hundreds of dollars, right? That company might, get into Walmart because of what we did, might get into Target, might go public. And we made that mistake with our first agency, right? We drove traffic for a lot of new companies. We grew them from nothing to 6 figures a month to, 8 figures. And they then got into Walmart and Target and QVC and HSN. And then they got into big affiliate networks. And they're now doing, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands sometimes of orders a day. and we make no money off that, right? We got a retainer back in the day and we made money as an agency, but we had no piece of the pie. So everything we're looking for now is like, okay, well, how can we make money on the front end, but how can we also ensure that we get a piece of that pie in the back end? And that's, I think, the future of performance marketing. At least people that are going to do it right and make a lot of money is leveraging your skills to get a better deal. And so here's an example. We got approached after the Agora thing by several big financial companies that are running a ton of lead gen. They're doing a ton of like info products for finance, right? So companies like Motley Fool and those types of companies that are selling like, here's our stock newsletter, stock tips, whatever it might be. They need leads. They need a consistent flow of traffic. And so we started realizing, hey, we're driving a shit ton of traffic for you. We're making good money, in terms of our spread on the CPL, and that's great. But you're going to make tons of money monthly off these leads for a long period of time. And there's ways for us to work together to help you further monetize these leads and customers, right? Especially in the finance market, because there's so many offers, so many ways to monetize that traffic. So why don't we form a 50-50 venture where we're the front end, we're the traffic piece, we're the monetization piece, you're the content piece, the infrastructure piece, the email marketing, all those pieces. We create a new entity together. All of our leads that we're driving, customers and buyers, go into this new entity that we then co-monetize over the future. So we make money on the front end, plus we're making money monthly. We're going to build this big content site. We're going to have sponsorships, advertising, native ads. Then we're going to have the email side of it where we're making money, driving traffic to webinars and launches. And when there's a recession, here's new products for that, right? There's so many ways to monetize that asset over a long period of time. And then one day maybe we'll sell it. So if we looked at the divergent there of the two paths we have, hey, we could have taken the CPL route and just been content with that, right? Sure. We're getting leads for $1.85, and you charge the initial advertiser $4.80. We split the spread. Simple, right? Everyone's happy. We're making a few, a buck or so per lead, and that's great. But I think it's time for us to think bigger and to value ourselves more than just being content with what we've always gotten. And I think that does two things. One is I think it obviously incentivizes us more, and it aligns us more with the client, whoever the advertiser, publisher is, whoever it is that's paying us out on the CPL, CPA. It aligns our goals more because now we're more invested in the future success of the business. So we're less likely to flood them with shit traffic and low quality traffic and to try to game the system because we have a piece of the big pie. So I think that's one thing, right? And I think the second thing is it allows us to take some risk off the table, because the risk, any affiliate I know, any like affiliate that basically all they do is just affiliate stuff, right? They don't have any other businesses or income streams. They have these huge volatile swings, meaning 1 month they might make a few $100,000 and 1 month they might make nothing. And then they might make $50,000 and then nothing. And they have these massive income spikes. And that is a really, really stressful life to live, right? That's like back when I had my first startup. When you're running a venture funding, it's really stressful because the bank account only goes this way. When you're running a venture-backed startup where you're focused on user growth and you have no customers, literally every day your bank account's going down. Nothing's coming into it. And running that is stressful beyond like imagination. It's hard to even explain how stressful that is, right? So what we want to do now is we want to leverage our skills to be paid well on the front end for what we can do, but also leverage that to get a piece of the pie and build genuine assets that'll pay us dividends for months and years to come, right? Especially as we're looking at the kind of current the state of the economy, right? You're looking at I think every expert is pretty much in agreement that we are going to hit a recession soon. We're in the longest bull market in history. If you look at the economy over 100 years, it is cyclical, right? It's a cycle. It's bull market, bear market, bull market, bear market, recession, expansion. And we're overdue for a massive pullback. We're overdue for a recession. And we're in a potentially one of the worst things we could be in, which is, stagflation, which is like one of the worst kind of recessions you could possibly be in. It's not just a recession. It's kind of stagflation, which is inflation combined with the recession. And that limits what the central banks and the Fed can do to stimulate the economy. Because usually you have kind of one of two tools. You can control the money supply, or you have quantitative easing. So that's kind of what the Fed did in the last recession, is you just print more money, right? But when you have inflation, you can't do that, because then things run amok like in Venezuela. So we're I don't want to get too deep into the economics of it, but when that happens, you know, one of the first things that businesses are going to cut off is their, you know, maybe their CPA, their affiliate commissions, right? They might bring everything in house, slow down the growth a little bit, focus on profitability, and cut off that external traffic. And so if you're 100% an affiliate, that can be scary, right? You might lose all of your income streams overnight and have no assets to bank on. So what I would be focused on the next 6 months or so is building up assets, leveraging your skills that you can then monetize over a period of time. So you're not dependent on anyone else, that you have, hey, this is great. You know, I can put some cash away from these people, but I can simultaneously be leveraging their expertise to, or their model and their company to build a either fully owned or co-owned asset together with that client. I mean, for an agency, that's also great because it increases the life cycle of that agency, right? So the retention rate is higher if you're business partners versus just a, you know, business agency vendor-vendee relationship, right? So yeah, I think kind of long story short, to recap, because I know this has been a long video, and we covered a lot of things. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that come in here. I think we're going to see a dramatic change in performance marketing, in the way performance marketers kind of leverage their skill sets, the way that they monetize their skill sets. At least the ones that are going to do it right are going to make a lot of money, because they're going to be able to build those assets and not just be kind of guns for hire. Because remember, the focus now needs to be on lifetime value increases. It can't just be on the front end. It's getting too expensive. And so if you can also help that partner, that client, that advertiser increase the lifetime value of their customers, what does it do for you as an advertiser? It helps you get a higher CPA, right? So if the product owner thinks that their lifetime value is 50 and their margins are 50%, they can't afford to pay you more than $25, right? Because they know they'll lose money if they do any more. But if you can help them through post-purchase retargeting, upsells, cross-sells, value ladder ascension, down funnel, continuity, if you can help them double that CLTV to 100, that potentially doubles the CPA they can pay out, right? Which makes you more profitable on the front end, and it's a win-win for everybody. So I think it's an exciting time to be a marketer. But I think it's also important for performance marketers to think like entrepreneurs and not just marketers, right? Think about building bankable assets, think about building real businesses, and not just being that gun for hire that's just running ads for other people, making other people rich, because at any time they can pull the rug out from under you and you're back at square one, right? So yeah, that's my thoughts. Probably more coming in the future as this conversation evolves. I know it's a hot discussion, it's a hot debate. There are parties on both sides that don't seem to like each other. You know, I personally don't have I don't have like allegiances to anybody. I don't view it as like a battle, right, where it's me against other people, or white hat versus black. I'm just looking at it from like what we do, right? So this is what I think. This is kind of an unbiased approach of, hey, we run a lot of traffic. We do a lot of things. We teach, we run traffic, we coach, we own businesses, we're partners. We run affiliate traffic, we pay affiliates. So this is kind of just from a bird's eye view where I think things are going. And it's not meant to be a personal attack on anybody. Again, like I said, I going back to the beginning of this video, I think there are, I know a lot of black advertisers, and I have a lot of friends that are black advertisers, and I, for the most part, I don't think many of them are bad people. I don't think they're malicious. They're doing it intentionally. I think a lot of them just kind of got stuck in it, and it was a way to make money, and they're dependent on it now for money, and it's hard for them to get out of it. And so I think there is a path though from black hat to white hat, and there's a lot of, like I said, a lot of great companies that are truly creating innovative products that need great marketers to come in and help them grow, and that's where you come in. So I think there's a good transition there for everybody. Awesome. Well, if anybody has any questions about this, anything that I covered, that you're watching the replay of this, or you're watching on YouTube, and you have thought, I'd love to hear your thoughts too. Right? This is not a fact. What I'm saying. This is a discussion. this is a forum, right? So I'd love to hear other people's opinions. I'd love to hear other people's thoughts. This is not me saying I don't know everything, right? And I make lots of mistakes, and I'm sure there are people on other sides of that have different perspectives than I have. So I'd love to hear those perspectives. I'd love to hear why you think what you're doing is the best path and what you think the future of marketing is. So yeah, let me know.